More than just a support ticket. Narrated by Justin. People think love begins with grand gestures. A chance encounter in a cafe. A blind date. A vacation romance. Mine started with a support ticket. Not exactly the most romantic beginning. But sometimes, the best love stories are hidden inside the most ordinary workdays. My name is Justin. I'm 32 years old, and I work in IT. Infrastructure. For nearly 10 years, my life revolved around servers, firewalls, cybersecurity, cloud migrations, and the occasional 2 a.m. emergency when someone, somewhere, managed to click on exactly the wrong email. I enjoyed my work. Every day brought a new challenge. But my personal life? That was another story. Long hours. Weekend maintenance. Late night deployments. Dating slowly slipped lower and lower on my list of priorities. Eventually, I stopped trying. I convinced myself I'd meet the right person one day. I had no idea that one day would begin with a new project. My company had just won a 5-year contract to manage the IT infrastructure for Meridian National Bank. It was one of the largest projects we'd ever handled. Thousands of employees. Hundreds of branches. Critical financial systems running 24 hours a day. Failure wasn't an option. Our managing director called me into his office. Justin. Yes? I need someone to lead the on-site infrastructure team. Me? You know enterprise systems better than anyone. I smiled. I'll do it. 3 weeks later, I walked into the bank headquarters carrying my laptop bag, a stack of project documents, and enough nervous energy to power the entire building. The lobby was polished marble. People in suits moved with quiet confidence. Everything felt precise, professional, organized. The receptionist smiled. You must be Justin. I am. Melissa will be showing you around. A moment later, I heard footsteps behind me. Justin? I turned. And for a second, everything else disappeared. She wasn't the kind of person who demanded attention. She simply had a calm presence that made people feel comfortable. She wore a navy business suit, her employee pass clipped neatly to her jacket, and she greeted me with a warm smile that instantly settled my nerves. I'm Melissa. She extended her hand. But everyone calls me Mel. I'm Justin. It's nice to finally meet you. Her handshake was confident, professional, friendly. Nothing unusual. Except, for some reason, I found myself smiling all the way through the building tour. Mel worked in corporate banking operations. Her team handled high-value business clients and worked closely with almost every department. That meant she also worked with IT. A lot. As we walked through the building, she pointed out meeting rooms, server access areas, security procedures, and introduced me to what felt like half the company. By lunchtime, I couldn't remember everyone's names except hers. So, she asked as we waited for the elevator. First impression? You have very good coffee. She laughed. That's the first thing everyone notices. I work in IT. We survive on coffee. I'll remember that. The first week disappeared in a blur of meetings. Network upgrades. Security reviews. Infrastructure assessments. Every day seemed busier than the last. Then came my very first support request from Melissa. Subject, shared drive access. I smiled. Finally. A ticket with a familiar name. It turned out to be a simple permissions issue. 5 minutes later, I walked over to her desk. Should be fixed now. She clicked her keyboard. It works. That was easy. She smiled. I was expecting a 2-day wait. I like proving stereotypes wrong. I'll keep sending tickets then. You'll become my favorite customer. She laughed. I'll hold you to that. Over the following months, we kept crossing paths. Sometimes because of work. Sometimes because fate seemed to enjoy helping us. We met in the elevator almost every morning. Shared the same coffee queue downstairs. Even discovered we usually ate lunch at almost exactly the same time. One afternoon she looked at my lunch. Is that homemade? It is. You cook? I try. She looked impressed. I survive on takeaway. That's not sustainable. It isn't. The next day, I packed extra pasta. I made too much. She smiled knowingly. Did you? I absolutely did. She accepted the container. The following morning, she returned it. Spotlessly clean. Along with a handwritten note. Asterisk best lunch I've had all month. Thank you, asterisk. I kept the note inside my desk drawer. I still have it today. One Friday evening, everyone else had already gone home. The bank was unusually quiet. I was in the server room finishing scheduled maintenance when I heard someone behind me. Still here? It was Mel. I could ask you the same question. Quarter-end reports. Ouch. She laughed. I'd been saying that all afternoon. We left the building together. Outside, heavy rain poured across the city. Neither of us had an umbrella. So, I smiled. We're trapped. I suppose we are. There was a small cafe across the street. We ran through the rain together, laughing like school children. By the time we reached the cafe, we were both soaked. My hair is ruined, she said. You still look fine. She looked up at me. You didn't have to say that. I wasn't trying to be nice. I was telling the truth. For just a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she smiled. Thank you. That unexpected coffee lasted nearly 3 hours. We barely talked about work. Instead, we spoke about family, travel, books, dreams we'd quietly set aside while building our careers. She confessed she'd always wanted to visit Switzerland. I admitted I wanted to see Japan during autumn. You like quiet places. I do. So do I. Somehow that didn't surprise either of us. The weeks after that felt different. We still worked together. Still remained professional. But now we also looked forward to lunch, coffee breaks, walking to the MRT station after work. Even the smallest conversations became the best part of my day. One afternoon, my teammate Daniel leaned across my desk. So, what? Melissa. What about her? You smile every time she emails. I do not. He pointed toward my screen. You literally smiled just now. I looked. He was right. I had. 3 months later, the bank organized its annual charity run. I signed up because our IT team needed representatives. Mel signed up because her department insisted everyone participate. I don't actually enjoy running, she admitted. Neither do I. So why are you here? I heard there'd be free breakfast. She laughed. I knew there had to be another reason. We finished almost last, talking the entire way. Neither of us cared. One evening, as we walked toward the MRT station, Mel suddenly stopped. Justin? Yes? I've been meaning to ask you something. Go ahead. Would you like to have dinner? I blinked. Outside work. I understood. She smiled nervously. I wasn't sure. I'd been hoping you'd ask. You have? 4 weeks. She laughed. So we've both been waiting? Apparently. Dinner became movies. Movies became weekend cafes. Weekend cafes became hiking trips, museum visits, and trying every new restaurant either of us discovered. It never felt rushed. It simply felt right. Our colleagues noticed long before we did. One morning I walked into the office to find two coffees already sitting on my desk. A note beside them read, "For the office's favorite unofficial couple." No signature. No explanation. Just a smiley face. Mel laughed so hard she nearly spilled her coffee. "I think we've been found out." "I think so too." Eventually, we met each other's families. My mother adored Mel before dessert was even served. Her father spent an hour asking me about cybersecurity. By the end of dinner, both families were laughing together as though they'd known each other for years. Driving home that night, Mel smiled. Our moms exchanged recipes. "My dad invited your parents to barbecue next month." "I think we're no longer just dating." "I don't think so either." A year after my first day at the bank, I asked Mel to meet me on the rooftop terrace where we'd often taken coffee breaks. The city sparkled beneath the evening sky. The same skyline we'd looked at hundreds of times. Only tonight, everything felt different. "You remember your first support ticket?" She laughed. "The shared drive. You became my favorite customer. And you became my favorite IT guy. I was hoping for a promotion." She smiled. "Oh." I took a slow breath. "You've supported me far more than I've ever supported your computer." She laughed softly. "And I hope," I reached into my jacket pocket, "you'll keep supporting me for the rest of our lives." I knelt on one knee. "Melissa, will you marry me?" Happy tears filled her eyes before she even answered. "Yes." "Of course I'll marry you." She wrapped her arms around me as the city lights shimmered around us. Somewhere below, the office cleaners continued their evening routine. The security guards carried on with their patrols. Life continued exactly as it always had. But for us, everything had changed. Looking back now, people often ask where we met. Some expect an exciting story, a holiday romance, a chance encounter overseas. I always smile. We met at work. But not because of the job. We met because every support ticket became a conversation. Every conversation became a friendship. Every friendship became love. And to this day, whenever someone in the bank jokes that IT fixes everything, Melissa simply smiles, takes my hand, and says, "They fixed my heart too." Sometimes, the most important connection you'll ever make isn't to a network, a server, or a computer. The end. I hope you enjoyed the stories brought to you by Drama Spark. The story is created by Pearl.